You can only become truly accomplished at something you love. Don't make money your goal. Instead, pursue the things you love doing and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off you. And that is a quote by the amazing author Maya Angelou. So, welcome again to the show. This is a solo episode today, and it's part one of two parts, which is all about in person sales. Today's going to be about the why. I will give you a few little tips at the end, but be sure to check out part two, which is going to be about the how. And before I get started, I don't know if you've been to LuciDumasCoaching.com lately, but there's a couple of gifts. There's one about sales, the 10 big ideas for marketing in the real world, which is about getting away from the computer and getting out there and doing some things that people are not doing these days. And the other is 7 marketing tips. So I'm excited to give you my heart and my passion and my why. I think selling your work in person and best is with a projector and a movie screen or a great big white wall, whatever works for you, is the most effective. First of all, when people see it big, they understand the emotional impact of it. And then in these 7 reasons, there's other tips, other explanations of the why I think this is a fabulous idea and why many, many, many of my coaching clients, in case you don't know, I do one-on-one coaching, have raised their sales to be in the neighborhood of 2 to 4,000 and much more. So hold on to your hats. So think about where you got your ideas about selling. Think about how you set your pricing. Um, and think about why you might be hesitant to do in person sales. Some people just don't know how. Some people are afraid of being too pushy, which is exactly the opposite when you're showing your work in person, because we're doing art, we're doing things that are special and emotional for people. This particularly is if you're selling people photography that has potential to be art in their homes. So, one of the reasons I love selling art is the comments that I've had from people who have wall portraits in their home that I created for them. And one of the most touching stories was about a blended family where the son did not get to live in the home full time with his father and his father's new wife and kids. And he felt left out. They shared this with me before a session. And so I was very mindful and I made sure I took some beautiful pictures of just he and his dad and then included him, of course, in the family pictures and he with his step siblings. And then in the family portrait, I put him in the center where they all had a hand on him or was leaning towards him. And so we did the sale in person. The mom and dad cried and they were excited. And they told me later that when they had the portraits on display in their home, it changed that young man's life because when he came for his father's weekend or whenever it was his time, he immediately went to that portrait and stood there and reminded himself he's a part of his family. So I'm thinking if I had just sold them a few 8x10s or if they had had digital files, this may have never had the same impact. So let's get started officially with my 7 reasons. So, first of all, providing beautiful portraits for clients for their home is really a gift to them. I got to take a drink of water once. Just quenched my thirst. Thank you for waiting. All right. Serving our clients who don't know what we know about the value of finished portraits in their homes is very important, in my opinion. It's our expertise. If they get the files only, or if you post it online for them to pick prints without our guidance, first of all, they don't have access to the great photo labs that we have. They don't know how to get the best out of work. And we're decorators. We're not just photographers when we're doing this kind of work that is worthy of big art in people's homes. So we're offering our knowledge and our guidance. One of the things that I always emphasize is, and this is how we don't come across super salesy, is that we build a relationship with them as their trusted advisor. We start that with the first phone call. Actually, it starts with branding, where they become to clear about who we are and what we might be offering and kind of the experience they can expect. But that first phone call, the consultation, all the way along the line, we are develop that relationship so that when it's time to order, they trust our guidance. So that's number one, is it's actually giving them a service and a gift. Number two is the joy of sitting down with your clients, and I put it to music and I make them super comfortable, and we all see them big, and they laugh and they cry and they hug us. They're always overwhelmed at first. And I know that if we were not with them, that overwhelm is something that I can't remedy. But when I'm with them, I reassure them we're going to take this one step at a time. I always say if you just say yes, no, or maybe every time something comes up, by the time we're done, you're going to have beautiful choices. We're going to figure out how to decorate your home with these and possibly put a book together and share gifts. So that's number two. It's just really lovely. And one of the things I find is people are afraid of selling, and they also get this like, I'm not good enough. But when you're sitting with clients and you're seeing their reactions, it's a big confidence booster. That may be in one of my other seven particularly, but let's see where we go from here. Okay, another thing is your work will get better when you, number one, see it big, and number two, see and hear what the clients react to and also what they will pay money for. If a client is getting pretty much everything you shoot, you have no clue as to which ones are really worth doing over and over again with every session, and which ones are just like, that's nice, but it never really sees the light of day. So it educates you, and you also, when you're looking at your work, you get to see all the little things that you may change next time, the things you've done well, so you can repeat them. Okay, number three is, wait, that was three. Okay, four is I so passionately believe in preserving family legacies. And digital images, a lot of them will just melt away like snow in the spring, especially because all of us are producing massive amounts of digital images with our phones, as photographers, of course, we've got our our play cameras and our pro cameras and our phones. And I know I experience a lot of challenge when I'm trying to find something, even though I backed it up in different places. Trying to remember where that is when I need to is a challenge. So when we make sure these are printed well, printed archivally, then not only do people experience it every day, like the young man that I mentioned at the beginning, but they get to hand them down. Their kids and grandkids get to see them in the homes. And I know when I was putting a memorial together for my mom a couple of years ago, um, I have lots of digital photographs, but those ones that I have in prints, the wall portraits that I had created of my parents by themselves, the pictures of our family large, uh, of our large family large, the pictures that were taken and printed when, I was a little girl, all of those were so much a part of the legacy. And even have pictures of my mother's parents, grandparents. I have a tintype of a woman that looks like my sister, and this was probably from 1880. So I highly value that, and I hope you do too. And I want to help my clients value that. All right, so now I'm coming to number five, which a lot of people would think this should be number one, right, Lucy? But I do this for those first four reasons first, and the benefit is, guess what? Way more income, way easier to get thousands of dollars in my pocket. Now, it's not easier to take them on a journey step by step, build that relationship, build the desire. All of that takes a little extra time and work. But I would rather, let's say in a month, I'd rather do four sessions and make $15,000 than 10 sessions and make 15, or I'm sorry, 5 to 10 to $15,000. I don't know about you, but I like the time for dollars. And I also like that relationship. I become friends with my clients, and I'm sure you do too. I kind of miss them when the everything's over and I delivered. I'm like, oh, my best friends. I may never see them again. All right, number five, and I already mentioned this, but it's time. When you are efficient and effective in your general time management, having less time that you spend with clients per dollar makes you a happier person, a better spouse, parent, child, have time for your friends, have time just for yourself. I love to read. I've rekindled my passion for reading since I discovered how fun it is to do on my iPad with free library books from a cloud library app. So, more time for a life. If I could go back in time and do my last 40 years, it would have been to be more selfish with my personal time and found ways to really use every minute that I spend work maximum efficiency. All right. And you have better clients. Now, all people are great, in my opinion. At least I give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove me wrong. But better meaning easier to work with, more expendable income. So it's easier for them to give us those thousands of dollars, 4 and 5 figure dollars. They respect us more, so they treat us better. I was thinking about how weird it is that the less I and other people I know charge, the more challenging those clients seem to be. And I was trying to figure out why. Is it like people that are cheap are I don't know, more difficult? And then I thought about the my experience looking for someone to paint my house on the outside. It's an old house and it needed a lot of special care and scraping and sanding. You can't just slap a coat of paint on it and make me happy. Uh, and there's a man who has done a lot of work for some neighbors, especially across the street. And his price for me was so low that I didn't hire him because I didn't fully trust him. Now, if I had hired him, I would have watched him like a hawk because I might have thought, hey, I want to get that great price. But I would have thought I maybe need to be careful and watch him to make sure he's doing it right. So it's something about respect. The person that I hired, he was not the most expensive, but he was definitely an investment. And I relaxed and trusted him so much more than I would have with the bargain guy. All right, let's see. Oh, and I have a little secret number 8. And it is that the whole thing is a more fun experience for me. So I think that's it for now, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek about the next episode, chapter 2, about how. So the sneak peek is this. You want to have good equipment, so a nice projector. One person to ask would be Mr. Nichols of ProSelect because he always recommends projectors whenever possible, and he's got some ideas on good ones. There's Epson ones that are great. You don't want to go with the ones that are called home cinema because those are made for movies. And so I actually called Epson at one point and got a little rundown on the differences. There's some I've used from a company called NEC, and the the entry pro version has been fabulous. And honestly, you can find some good ones on um, eBay. Be careful not to go with the wide, depending on your setup. All right, number 2, I get big white boards um, like this, if you're watching, and I use them when I'm going through the slideshow and there's an image I think would be great as a piece of art. I get out of my chair and I hold it up like a 30 by 40 or a 30 by 30, and they see and they feel what it will look like as art in their home. And then my other secret sauce because what I do is we go through a series, I do a slideshow, then a yes, no, maybe, and then we narrow to the best in each kind of pose. Then we separate into groups, wall, small, and album. And then I do a slideshow of the wall group, and I do it twice. And I say, watch how you feel when each one of these come up, because the ones that are strongest, you'll get an emotional reaction. And that is what you'll feel every day for the rest of your life if you order this as wall art for your home. So those are 2 little secret things that I don't know if anybody else is doing it unless they've taken my classes or been coached for me, or I don't know, sat at lunch and let me give them my tips. So um, 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 I think that's all I want to say for now. But remember, go to lucidumascoaching.com and get in touch with me. There's a place to click if you want a 20-minute call. But get those 2 little gifts and be sure to tune in for part 2. That's it for now. Bye.